Hello, my friends, and welcome to Kitsune Readings, where your questions find answers.
Hello, my friends. Ryu here. Today we're going to talk about Sword of Vermilion, one of the early Sega Genesis RPGs that came out alongside Phantasy Star 2. This is actually a very interesting game for certain reasons, which I'll explain. Now, this game is Yu Suzuki's first stab at console RPGs. This is the same person who made Outrun, Afterburner, and Shenmue from Sega's M2 team. Hiroshi Hamagaki was the hands-on director. This had 300 hours of playtime, 14 towns and dungeons, sported real-time combat. The towns are like sort of a top-down Zelda-ish type of gameplay. It was a very ambitious game. It was around $90 retail when it released. It is a defining Sega Genesis game. The Sega Genesis wasn't really known to have RPGs, but this one is actually pretty interesting. And it had a massive manual that came with it full of maps and tips and things like that. So, we have this game here. I would say it's a pretty interesting game. So we'll start the game up here. And I'm playing this on the Sega Genesis Classics collection on the Switch. But, see if I can show you about this game here. It had a save file. Yeah, I don't have a saved game on here. Let's see. Nope. So we're gonna start a brand new game. Reset the game. I thought I had a game save on here. I like the music. The opening music is really good. The opening screen is amazing. Name our character here. The Sega Genesis was known more for action and sports games over RPGs. Long ago, King Sarkhan of Carthana unleashed his evil hordes upon the peaceful land of Excalibria. Though the people fought bravely, the castle collapsed around them. King Eric of Excalibur summoned Blade, his most trusted servant. Eric commanded Blade to escape with Eric's infant son and the Ring of Wisdom. They slipped out of the passage while the castle was engulfed in flames. Pretty cool opening for an old game. He fled with the babe to a distant village and raised the child as his own. He vowed to devote all of Carthana's power to searching for the prince. 18 years had passed since Sarkhan began his search. Well, the Dark Lord's looking for us. The music sounds really good. I see you, Gypsy. Alright, we're supposed to go to our house because our father is dying. Let's see, I think it's over here. And he wants to talk to us. Oh, that's the church. This was a very unique RPG. The style that it had. And the way things go in this game. You'll see what I mean. Like, this game's awesome. They actually did put a lot of work into this from what I found. Now, Sega, of course, wanted to compete with the popularity of games like Zelda and Final Fantasy. But to do that, you also have to stand out in the crowd. Some things I found online talk about how difficult this game is, which it can be. Let's see. The Sega Genesis Classics collection isn't available on Steam anymore, by the way. It was delisted, which is very sad. It means these games are harder to find. Let's see, equipment. And I'm glad I get to share them with you. My older brother was very obsessed with games like this. Now, there's the way to the town, of course, and you have a first-person perspective. Now, you don't want to go too far because you want to stay close to the town. This is what the combat looked like. Now we can just back straight up, go into the village. Let's see, what items do we have? Whoops, maybe it's, there we go. Strength. We're level 1. Next level, we get at 90 experience. The money we have is called Kim, so we have 14 of that. The inns in this game are run by wizards, apparently. I don't remember if you save here or at the church like in Dragon Quest. I think it's at the church like in Dragon Quest. $90 was quite the price for a game when this came out. But, Phantasy Star on the Sega Master System, my older brother also begged our parents for, and that game was around 70 when it came out. Yeah, you save at the church. Now we want to have leather armor, so we're gonna have to get 200 Kim. So we'll go fight some more monsters and gain a level. This game really isn't that difficult if you spend enough time leveling. Oh, I died. Good thing we saved. Whoops. Okay. Now when you die, you just do this. And then you reload your game so you don't lose half your gold. Just like reloading in Dragon Quest. I really love the opening screen for this game. It's really cool. Whoa, we're back. Nothing happened. I think the C button is your attack button. After you reach like level 5, you start learning magic, I think, if I remember right. But the reason I show you this game is how unique and cool it actually is. Uh-oh. Kobolds, I think. Uh-oh. I escaped. Gotta heal. See, you can't fight a whole lot of things, which is where people believe the game is difficult. Because you have to at least reach level 2 first before you can fight those things. Once we have enough Kim to get leather armor, and we hit level 2, it'll be much easier. Actually, we could probably buy a sword too, a shield rather. That'll probably help. Let's grab a shield. But, you know, in the early 90s, this is what RPGs looked like. Very early RPGs. This came out in Japan in 1989. And in America, of course, it came out in 1990. Game's about 40 years old, isn't it? Amazing. Just doing random encounters to level. You can see we have a shield equipped now. So we're taking far less damage. We're up to 55 Kim. I'd probably have to play a guide. Play the game with a guide, I mean. And maps to figure out where to go. Refresh my memory on what to do. I might as well sleep at the end real quick. This game is actually fairly large. To do a complete playthrough of it, I'd probably have to break it up into different videos. Or just make a bunch of videos and then splice them all together. This is a game where you would draw maps on notebook paper to sort of figure out where you were going. I think you can get maps in the game, but I don't really remember. We'll check the item shop in a minute. It's been a while since I've played this game. Level up. 61 HP. 19 magic points. Awesome. We'll save. Saving frequently is always important. Yeah, we can get a map from the item shop, I think. It's pretty nice to see what the games of yesteryear looked like. The psychic shop. No, there's the item shop. I have to get candles for the cave. I remember that now. Running out of candles in the cave sucks. Somebody here will probably give us a map. If I remember correctly. You know, one of the first earliest times my older brother got mad at me was for deleting his save. Oh, he was furious. He must have yelled at me for hours. Mom and Dad have to tell him, no, you can't do anything, you deleted your save. But my brother was super pissed when I deleted his game. Yeah, he was really mad about that. Trying to remember where the map comes from. Thinking for a bit. I don't remember where you get the first map in this game, but I know that one of the villagers gives it to you. I think we talked to all the villagers. Over this way. Yeah, be sure you have a map before you leave. Yeah, well, who gives me the map? Well, anyway, somebody gives it to you. I just don't remember who. Whoops. Oh, there's the map. Thanks, bro. So we have to go get a ring from the cave. I don't remember what the spells are. I think some of them teleport you out of the cave. One is like a fireball. I think there's even one to create lights to see inside the cave. This is actually a really cool game. There you go. See, there's the village. There's the cave that they're sending us to. One thing about RPGs is you always want to have the maximum upgraded gear before doing anything. Because having the leather armor, right, that's gonna help out a lot. There's the village. And I'm really glad to show you this game also because of how interesting and unique it is from other RPGs of its time. And you have to get maps of different areas too. So if we go into another area where the next village is, we have to get a map for that area, and so on and so forth. $320 we get at the next level. We're at 130 chems. We'll go ahead and get our leather armor and check out the cave. A true classic, to be sure. One thing Sega was also known for, Sega's name means service games, by the way, in case you didn't know. They made pinball machines and stuff for US servicemen that were stationed in Japan. They were more known for arcade games than anything else. And they were the only real competition Nintendo had back during the time of the console wars. Nintendo pretty much had a monopoly. And they ruled the gaming industry with an iron fist. Nintendo's contracts that they offered making games to be licensed onto their console their terms were ridiculously unfair. They took really huge cuts in everything. And a lot of companies were just exclusive to Nintendo because they didn't want to lose their contract for dealing with the Nintendo console because they had such a strong monopoly at that time. Third-party developers really didn't become interested in Sega because Sega first released the Sega Master System after the launch of the NES in America. But Nintendo really had no competition. And so the 16-bit next generation console, which was the Sega Genesis, where you could have larger sprites and things like that. Then the third-party companies started looking at Sega and were like, oh, hey, this is gonna be really cool. This could be really successful. And it opened up a lot for the Sega company as a whole. Oh, we got enough for our leather armor. Cool. Games have really changed a lot over the years. I mean, looking at this game from 1990 compared to what we have now, it's really quite amazing. Oh, and we can get a bronze armor too. That would take a lot of gold though. Go save real quick. One of the unique parts of this game, RPG-wise especially, is that the exploration is not a top-down view like most other RPGs of the day. It actually gives you a first-person perspective, which could be very immersive. Talk about early VR, am I right? Sure, you're in this top-down perspective for the town, but once you leave the town, you have your map on the right-hand side and your first-person exploration. This was really unique. It was new and innovative at the time. Here we have a candle, so we can light up the cave and look around. Now the background changed to being the dungeon that we're in, right? Gonna have to buy a lot more candles for this place, though. Probably need 4 or 5 candles for that place. Because the candles can burn out on you, the place won't stay lit up for that long. Important thing to mention if you're gonna play this game. And since it's available on Sega Genesis Classics, it's a good way for you to experience the game if you want to try it today. It's nice to own the game physically and not have to deal with emulation. Make sure we restore ourselves and save. But this was a game I was really excited to share with everyone. I enjoy retro games and giving people a look at what games looked like back in the 80s and 90s. Whoops, wrong button. Very unique and ambitious game for the time that it came out. I really liked this game. It, oddly enough, I would say, is one of my favorite games on the Sega Genesis today. And I still play it. But this is your introduction to the Sword of Vermilion. Hopefully you like the game and you want to give it a try. This is the early ancestor of the RPGs you play today, my friends. I love you all. You can and you will achieve your dreams, my friends. I believe in you, and I will see you all again very soon. Have a great day, everyone.